Remember, slope is the rate of change, and it's always the coefficient next to x. 6 is next to x. There's nothing in front of it, so it's a positive 6. 1/4 is next to x, but you see that minus? That means that's a negative 1/4. So those are my slopes. The y-intercept is the starting point, and it's the single number. It has no variable. So the 5, look in front of the 5. There's a minus sign, so that's interpreted as negative 5. Over here, there's an 8. And since there's not a number in front, it's assumed to be a positive 8. On the second part, finding slope from a graph. Remember, the x-intercept is where it touches the x-axis. So 3, 0. And right 3, stay put. The y-intercept is you stay put and you go down 4. So 0, negative 4. There is my graph. So if I were to find my slope, rise, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go up 4, and then I go over 1, 2, 3. 4 over 3. Now I can check that quickly by putting it in my t-chart. 3, 0, and 0, negative 4, and then you subtract. So when I subtract, 0 minus 3 is a negative 3, negative 4 minus 0 is negative 4. I swing it over, negative 4 divided by negative 3 is positive 4/3. So that is correct, it is 4/3. On the next one, negative 4, 2, you go left and up 2. So left 4, up 2. The second one I'm going to graph is 1, 3. So I go to the right 1, down 3. Right 1, down 3. Now, if I want to check the slope, it is, I'm starting from the left point, and notice it's going down. So this is going to be a negative slope. So how many am I going down? I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going down 5 over 5. So negative 5 over 5 is negative 1. Now I can check that by making my graph negative 4, 2, and then 1, negative 3. And change to find slope, you subtract. 1 minus negative 4, that is a positive 5. Negative 3 minus 2 is a negative 5. And so negative 5 over 5, which is what we have. Negative 5 over 5 is negative 1. So that is my slope, my rate of change. Number 5, tables are lined up end to end in a restaurant. The number of people who can be seated y, so people is your y, is a linear function of the number of tables x. So in my t-chart, where you have x and y, x is your tables, so I'm going to go ahead and put tables above my x, and the people that sit around the table are your y's. Now I'm going to look and see if I see any pairings. 20 people can sit at 3 tables. So my people, 20, goes under the y column, and the tables, 3 tables, goes under the x. On the next one, and 32 people sit at 5 tables. So there's a pairing. 32 people, since it's people, 32 goes under the y, and then 5 tables, 5 goes under the x. Now once you set up your ordered pairs, then you subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2, 32 minus 20 is 12, slide it over and divide. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that is 6 people per table. 6 people can sit at 1 table. Number 4, I need to find my x-intercept, which is called the 0 function. Now, when you have an x-intercept, this is the way I want you to remember it. So x, you have an x. Wherever you see intercept, that's like you're putting the number 0. Okay? It is also called, another name for that is called the 0 of function. How you do that is you take 0 and you're going to put it in place of the y. See, this is in an ordered pair, it's x, y. Well, notice the 0 is going to go in place of the y. What's another name for y? F of x. So I just take 0 and place it in for f of x. So if I want to find the x-intercept, I'm going to take 0 and place it in for f of x. Now, we had talked about how to go to InSolve and plug it on your calculator. Menu 3, 1. You have 0 equals 4x minus 12. And then make sure you put comma x. And then hit your enter. And it's 3. So x equals 3. That is the 0 function. So 3 is where it's going to be touching the x-axis. Negative 12, remember, that is the one that doesn't have a variable. That is your y-intercept. So your graph should look like this. It should be a linear function. So we're going to check that. And if you'll go to Control Doc, I'm going to add a graph. And I'm going to graph 4x minus 12. Hit enter. Now there's your graph. Menu, I'm going to go to trace, which is 5, and then hit 1 for graph trace. See, my y-intercept is at negative 12, and if you arrow over, notice when it comes up, 0 of function is at 3, 0, so that is correct. Okay, the same thing over here. F of x, I'm going to plug in a 0. And then you can go to InSolve and solve that. So Control arrow takes me back to the calculator page. Menu 3, 1, and I have 0 equals negative 2x plus 1. And then I have to say comma x. Tell the calculator what I'm solving for. It's 0.5. So my x-intercept is at 0.5. Now, a half is like half a dollar, so that is less than a dollar. So it is between 0 and 1. And my y-intercept is positive 1. So my graph is actually decreasing. So I'm going to check that. Control arrow, go back to tab, up arrow, and I'm going to delete that equation. And I'm going to put in the equation negative 2x plus 1. And when I do that, there's my graph, menu 5, 1. I can arrow over and I'm going to check. Notice 0, it says 0.50, so that's correct. That's my x-intercept. And then y-intercept is 0, 1. So my graph was correct. On number 8, you receive a gift card from Dairy Queen because you love blizzards. The function, anytime you see a function, write that down. B equals 30 minus 3.5B represents the remaining dollars on a gift card after obtaining B blizzards. Write the 0 of function. I need to find the 0 of function. Well, I need to identify my x and my y. Remember, the rate, the number by the variable, this is your x. So my blizzards are my independent. And the money that's remaining, that is my dependent. That is my y. Okay? So D is your y. Remember that you are going to replace, if you're finding the 0 function, you're going to replace the y with a 0. So I'm going to say 0 equals 30 minus 3.5. And I can use B for blizzards. That's fine. Now I'm going to go to my calculator page. So I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to arrow back. And I'm going to go to InSolve, menu 3, 1. And I have 0 equals 30 minus 3.5. And I can use B, but just make sure I tell the calculator that I'm using B. Enter. 8.5. So I can get, now you can't go to the Dairy Queen and say, I need 8.5 blizzards. So you can probably buy 8 blizzards before you use up your gift card. Okay, that's probably how many you can get. Number 9, which equation best represents the relationship between the x and y values? You are going to graph all equations, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you're going to see which one matches the table. But I would write my table vertically first. My first order pair is negative 2, 7. My next order pair is 2, negative 5. My next order pair is 4, negative 11. Next order pair is 6, negative 17. And my last order pair is 10, negative 29. Now, we're going to graph. I'm going to go to a brand new document just to start over. And never want to save, go to graphs. I'm going to enter them one at a time. So x plus 9 is my first one. Hit the down arrow button. Notice that came up blue. So I'm going to write blue beside A. My next equation is x squared, so x squared plus 3. Notice hit the down arrow button, it's red. So I'm going to write red beside the blue one. My next equation is negative 3x plus 1. Oops, make sure I accidentally hit 2 negatives, so negative 3x plus 1. Hit the down arrow button. That one is a black in color, so I'm going to write black by that one. And then D. D, you have x minus 7. Hit the down arrow button, and it's pink. So this one came up pink. All right, now once you're done, hit enter. Now I will look at my table. So remember, Control T pulls up your tables. Now the first order pair, look at the x needs to be in negative 2. So I'm going to go to negative 2, so I need to up arrow. Okay, see this is negative 2. Now what value do I want? I want a 7. So I'm going to look at these. 7 is okay. 7 is okay. The black one has a 7. Oh, the pink one does not have a 7, so the pink is gone. Now we're going to look at positive 2. So you're going to go on your graph to positive 2, to the x. Now who do you want beside that? I want negative 5. Negative 5 is on the black one. Oh, but look, it's not on the red one, and it's not on the blue one. So it doesn't work on the red or on the blue. It worked on the black one. Now I'm going to double check. So I need to check 4, 6, and 10. Okay? So I'm going to scroll down. You go scroll on down. 4. Now make sure I'm on the black one. So make sure you scroll over to the black column. Here it is. 4, when x is 4, y is negative 11. That's good. When x is 6, y is negative 17. That's good. When x is 10, y is negative 29. Yes. So my answer was definitely C.